Happy Tuesday morning. This is going to be super short because we have got to get in the car. It is 9:12 and we have to be to school at 9:30. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the big one goes to actual homeschool school, like on campus. So breakfast is always in the car, just because that's our life. So the middle one's just going to have some eggs and some orange. And then this is regular milk mixed with like half of that Fairlife protein shake. And that's what she'll have. I have coffee. Last night, apparently I had an inspiration for tonight's dinner, and this is it. No idea what I was thinking, because this is a real weird mix of stuff. We'll be back. In the car, and the lighting is going to get horrible when I turn on this next road, because it's behind me right now. Get a bobby pin on my little curl that hangs in the back, my little rat's tail. And it's lunchtime, but we're gonna have a picnic at the tire shop because this was our day today. So the last time I saw everyone, it was like 9:15, and we had to get in the car to go to school. School technically starts at 9. Well, so there's like a 30-minute physical education, PE, which I really think is more just so that the kids who are late, they don't miss class. Class doesn't technically start until 10 a.m. So, but we try to be there at 9:30. So we go to the car, and the tire looks a little flat. So we can go a shorter way to school, but if you go the long way, you pass the tire place where we got the tires. So I thought I'll just stop by and have them check the tires. The light was on, but it wasn't giving a notification that my car shows like the pressure if there's a low tire. And I don't have a fancy car. It's older. It's over 10 years old. Over 10-year-old minivan. We're not styling over here or anything. We don't have a fancy car. So we go there, and he's like, your front passenger tire's leaking. And I'm like, oh man. He's like, well, you should be okay. I'll fill it up. Just try to come back, maybe by tomorrow if you can get an appointment tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. So I look at the app. There's no appointments for that location, but there's an appointment for 10 a.m. tomorrow. All these details are important. You'll see why. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we get to school. She gets out. The parking lot's pretty big. So I get to the light to go out to go on the freeway, and it's red. So I'm sitting there, and she texts me and says, come back. I'm like, oh no, what happened? So I run back over, and she's like, we're supposed to be at the theater. So her homeschool school is very like arts based. She has, she could pick theater or backstage design, and she picked backstage design. And then she has like graphic design, personal finance. She does have science and math, but all her core stuff we do at home. For the most part, this is kind of just an extra thing to get her socialized and to have a different kind of classes that aren't her core classes at home. Also, my kid has always struggled with math. Always. She, everybody cries when it's math time. We've done tutors. We've done everything I can think of. And it's always been a struggle. She has a 97% in math right now. Go girl. Go girl. So, anyways, so she's like, I'm supposed to be at the theater, which we passed going to the tire shop. I'm like, okay, let's go. So at this point, we've been in the car for 45 minutes, and I've had my coffee, and I always try to drink like a big water bottle in the morning of water before I even get out of it. Sorry, I have to drive, so I keep kind of, I'm looking away and looking at traffic. And So I have to go potty at this point. So we stop at a gas station, which has a toilet that looks like it's from a preschool. It's a very short, tiny toilet. Whatever. I go to the bathroom. On the way in, the big one had asked if I could get her some peach rings, and she had $3 at home and she'd pay me back. Okay, cool. So I go to the bathroom and then the toilet won't flush. And I'm like, oh, well, this is great. So like the water's just filling and the toilet paper is like getting frothy. They have a plunger, so I have to plunge the toilet at the bathroom. Thank goodness, I just had to pee. So then I grab her peach rings. It's like a little less than $3. And so we have two accounts. We have our, what I call our bills account. And that account has the right amount of money to pay all the mandatory payment stuff. That doesn't usually get touched by anything. There's always a little extra in there just in case something, just in case. But for the most part, that account doesn't get used for anything other than bills. But it is my backup payment on Amazon. Keep that in mind. So I use the other account, which is our everyday account, which we don't use every day, but that's the account that has the money for personal items or for gas or for whatever's not home in the envelopes. There's always a buffer, and then I go at the end of the week and put it for the next week from the envelopes at home into the bank. But we have the two accounts. The everyday account is also the account that's for like Amazon or whatever. Like when I bought her little pajamas, and I know there's money in that account and it declines, and I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, okay, well, just use the bills account. It's $3. I know, like I said, there's at least extra $3. I try to I always round up the bill in my mathing. So if the bill is $62, I say it was $65. So there's always that couple extra dollar buffer. That card declines. And I'm like, what the heck? So I had a couple dollars in my wallet. I get her peach rings. We go in the car. We get to the theater. She is now 20 minutes late because of having to plunge the toilet. And there is, the doors won't open. So she goes back to the car. I'm like, did you try all the doors? Because it's a theater, so there's like 6 doors. Yeah. So she goes back up, and I said, well, knock. Maybe they locked it because, I don't know, whatever. They locked it. So she's still just standing there, and I go up, and she just tried all but one door, and that was the door that was open. So at this point, while I'm sitting there waiting for her to go in, I read the email. I had read for the wrong age group of where she was supposed to be. So she's supposed to be there at the theater at 10 tomorrow, which is my car appointment. So I changed the car appointment to today at 12:30, which is why we're going to have lunch at the car place. And then since now we're at a different part of town, we pass our bank. So I run in, and he looks at the first account, the one that first declined, and he's like, that's really weird. It's been declining things since November, but it shouldn't be. And I'm like, oh, I don't even use the card very much, so I had no idea. And really the only things that had gone through was on Black Friday, there were these it's a set of 2, they're like a not electronic, LED coloring thing, and then you push a button and it clears it. And I thought, well, that's perfect for Christmas, because she loves to color, this middle one, but she also likes to color on her face and her hands. And they had a 2-pack for $5. Like, can't beat that for stocking stuffer. So the baby will get one too, even though she doesn't color, but I mean, she doesn't care what she gets. She has no idea what's going on. So so it was like that, but because the bills account is the backup account, it had paid for it through that. But because it had been like a month of me not realizing, there was 4 transactions that had gone through that I didn't realize, that then bounced something because of it using that. So he was so nice, and he was like, I have no idea why your account isn't working. Let's reset the account. And then because of what happened and your card being bad, I'm going to take off those 4 fees that happened over the last month, which was nice because then I would have paid $30 for a $20 item that I got for $5 that I didn't realize. It was a mess, but it's all taken care of, and he was so nice to do that. And when you don't really use your cards for anything, you're not looking at them, you know, like I hadn't checked the bank because I knew everything was getting paid and there was money in there to pay what we need, and I haven't gone anywhere. I went to the Dollar Tree to get foam board. I spent like $6 on foam board, which was one of the things. But what a morning already. So it's 12:20. We are going to the tire place to get this tire checked. Thank goodness we had to get new tires in the last year, so they're still covered and we will be fine. But we are gonna have a picnic for lunch, and there's my long story. And ADHD brain, really not great for storytelling. My stories are always very long and drawn out, and the point, sometimes I forget the point of my story. So then I've talked for 10 minutes and then everyone's like, and the point. Actually, I saw this really funny TikTok. It was this lady telling her husband like a nothing story just to see his reaction. So she like starts out and she's like, today I went to the store, and she's like really dramatic, and he's like, you can tell he's super invested, and then there's no point. She's like, and then I held the door open because people were coming in behind me, and it was super funny. But it was like a minute of her not telling the story. But that's how most of my stories are. But it's not me trying to be funny, it's just my brain. So I don't have any idea what I was thinking last night when I put that stuff on the counter. I stay up way too late, and I in my phone I have a note to myself that it's supposed to be this collab of 2 recipes or 2 ideas that I have. I don't think that that's gonna work. So we're probably gonna go back to making those 2 separate things instead. I don't know. But I just saw a comment, someone said maybe do like I think it was a cheeseburger casserole or a hamburger casserole. So that's a good idea too. But we'll see what's for dinner. Right now we're gonna have our homemade Lunchables. Thankfully it's a beautiful day, so if it takes too long we can walk around the shopping center. So that'll be a beautiful day outside at the shopping center. But it shouldn't take that long. I don't think it has a hole or anything. It's just leaking. I think it's my fault. I hit a curb. I ran into a store I'd never been to just to get the price of something. But there was a curb, but it only came out as far as the tire on the passenger side. So I went to go to pull forward and not realizing that there was a curb there. And maybe that's what did it. I don't know. Probably. It seriously was like that big past. So I didn't see it on the side. Oh, there's a Little Caesars right there. I had a Little Caesars gift card that Josh got from work or something. When I married him, he like came with this box of his important. He writes down like all his passwords. Let's get the lighting better. He writes down all his passwords, and he had a huge. I hear this guy's probably like, what is she doing? This huge box of gift cards from people where he used to work giving into him, or work giving him, I don't know. It was an insane amount of random gift cards, like movie theater gift cards, and he had a Little Caesars one. We could have had a free pizza date on our adventure, but that's okay. We packed a lunch. So yeah, that's my day so far. And the chickens got out, and I had a dream that they got out and that the dog killed them. The dogs can't get to the chickens even if they get out, if the chickens escape their coop. We have one more section to finish and then they can't escape. But it was a horrible dream last night. And then they got out this morning and I was like, oh no, my worst nightmare is coming true. Anyways, it's been 15 minutes. We'll see you for dinner. It's that time. It's time to start cooking some dinner. My dream is having me paranoid and standing by the window so to make sure the chickens were all okay. We are going to do a play off of Becoming a Farm Girl's pumpkin lasagna. She does it with a bechamel sauce or a white cheese sauce, and it looks really good, but my husband doesn't like pumpkin. So how are we going to do this so he'll eat it? That is what we're trying to figure out. Also, I really want to use this canned sausage because I think that's very realistic of what people have to eat if they don't have meat, or they didn't get the fresh meat, or they open it and it was rotten. You need a backup, right? I'm gonna go change my glasses so I don't annoy anyone. But we're gonna do a play on that. I will link the original recipe below. She is very awesome. She is all about gardening, and she lives in a townhouse and gardens like hundreds of pounds of food. It's amazing. And about saving money, and she even has a newsletter that you can sign up for that sends you, it's a free newsletter, and it sends you once a month what's on sale that month and what like produce wise is the cheapest to buy in that period so that you can stock up when it's cheap and have it on hand. She's very spunky, but she's a wealth of knowledge, and you can totally tell she must be a teacher or something because she's just really good at teaching. But that's what we're going to do a play on. However, we don't have lasagna noodles. And the whole pumpkin thing. So this is what I'm thinking. Sorry, the microwave's going. The big kid is making ramen in the microwave because I already have stuff on the stove, so she has to do it in the microwave. But this is what we have. So we just have some normal spices, garlic, whatever, the cheese for the sauce, and then for the lasagna, flour for the sauce, milk for the sauce. I only have this much, and she used collard greens, I think, but she said you can use whatever kind of greens. So I only have that much spinach left, but I did find some frozen spinach in my freezer. And then like I said, I'm all out of butter, but for Black Friday, Blue Apron had this special where it was like $10 for 2 dinners. So I signed up just for the 1 box, which actually was really amazing because that's when we were sick when it came and nobody wanted to cook and it was all there prep for us. But I had butter at the time, so I just threw these in the fridge. So there's 2 of those. That's her ramen packet. I was like, well, I'm not putting that in my dinner. Then we have this pork sausage that I'm going to open with you. Pumpkin. Again, we don't have lasagna noodles, so we're just going to make like a layered thing. And then I was wondering if I pureed these with the pumpkin and kind of de-pumpkined it a bit, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe he really likes pumpkin and it will be fine. I love pumpkin. I don't love pumpkin spice lattes from Starbucks anymore though, because I feel like I haven't even had one in a few years, but the last time I had one, it was like from the year before, it became more chemical tasting, and it was a real weird orange color, and then I was done with it. I'm all about the peppermint mocha, but I just eat that at home. So let me go change my glasses. Over here, I haven't turned this on yet, but this is just olive oil in a pan for the sausage. And then I have that's condensation. I was like, what is on my thing? Water with a bunch of salt for the pasta. I gotta stop saying okay. Ooh. Lighting is not cute on my 2 chins. Let's try this sausage. I tried to remember everything today. Like, I even have the strainer for the pasta, the can opener, but I didn't get a spoon. Let me have to grab that. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I should not have put olive oil in the pan. So maybe we will take the olive oil out. So this is pork sausage. I just tipped it over on all of the spinach. I didn't think there was that much liquid in it because it just looks like fat. But pour some of that out. Okay. That is what it looks like. Everybody was laying down and now they're all behind me because it kind of smells like when you open tuna or cat food. But let's see. Okay. I took it out. It's a little bit better looking out of the can. If I didn't hit record, this is the pork. It kind of has a tuna fish cat food smell. So that's interesting. It's very juicy. It's very fatty. I've never eaten canned pork before. Or Spam. Or bologna. I've never had any of those meats. I know I'm like a chunky girl. And I know chunky girls say like, I eat healthy, I don't know why I'm chunky. I do like a chips at night. Not like a bag of chips, but I do like some chips at night. And I like cheese. Other than that, we don't really eat like this. I didn't grow up eating like this. I was chunky then and I didn't grow up eating like this. So, I've also had 3 C-sections and a 5-pound ovarian cyst removed, which caused a 13-inch vertical scar plus 2 C-section scars going the other direction. So it's like someone was playing Fruit Ninja on my stomach. And I've had other abdominal surgeries, like my gallbladder out, but that was laparoscopic. Anyways, I've had a lot of surgeries. That's also kind of why I'm chunky. So maybe if I didn't have that going on, maybe it'd be more believable. But really, I've never had bologna or Spam. And I lived with a Polynesian woman and I've never had Spam. Because the idea of meat in a can is not my jam. And I don't like tuna. And the reason why I don't like tuna, so I don't like seafood. Hold on, my water's boiling. I don't like seafood, but I used to be able to eat tuna. And I can't eat tuna now because I was like 9th grade and decided to go on that really weird 3-day diet where you have like cottage cheese and eggs for breakfast one day and tuna and a graham cracker. It's like mapped out like the military diet or something like that. And you had to eat tuna without mayonnaise. And the only way I could eat tuna before was with mayonnaise and pickles, lots of pickles. So that experience, tuna plain is not very tasty. And I don't I really just don't like the taste of most seafood. I'll eat it if I have to. Again, I've made it for dinner because that's what we've had. And if the girls have to try it, so do I. So this is weird. And I'm babbling now. But this is different. So let me get another pan. Oh, and when I thought I was recording, the ingredients is super weird. Not super weird. I mean, obviously, it's pork, salt, and sugar because those are the basic 3 ingredients for anything pretty much preserved or just American, I feel like. Black pepper, red pepper, but it has nutmeg and ginger in it. Like, why are those the 2 spices that they thought pork sausage needed? I would have put like a basil or a something else. But anyways, let me get a pan. All right, it's starting to brown up. Let's taste it. Cheers. That was me stalling. I have to smell it first. Okay. Hold on. We might just make a vegetarian one if I can't do this. I'm gonna be honest. That is salty. Whew. That is very salty. Holy crap. In 2 ounces, which is a serving size, there's 649 milligrams of sodium. 23 or 25 grams of protein, but that's a lot of sodium. It doesn't taste as bad as I thought. It's just probably because it tastes like salt. but it is salty. The taste tells the difference, though, what it says. So we need to get rid of some of that salt. Stirring and thinking, I think we're gonna add a little bit of honey to try and cut the salt, because honey seems like it goes good with the pumpkin. You can't get rid of it, but we can drink a lot of water and we can hide it, right? Okay, I don't know how much here. We're kind of winging it. Okay, let's try that. That's a little better. Let's add a little more. It's still very salty tasting. My honey wouldn't stop coming out, and now it doesn't want to come out at all. I don't want it to be sweet though. So if that doesn't work, we might have to throw some lemon in it. Let's taste this. Okay, that's a lot better. And I'm thinking sage would be really good in this. But I am going to grab some lemon. If I had maple syrup that didn't have glitter in it, I would have put that. But I only have about that much left. And it was a special treat, so I don't want to use that. But I thought that would have sounded good too. Okay, so just a couple little splashes. Okay, that's a lot better tasting. It's still not my favorite, but if this was all I had, now we know how we can make it edible. We're gonna add some sage. And about half of an onion. And that fat really cooked off a lot, actually. We're gonna add some garlic. She thinks she's very funny. So, keeping in mind that this meat is very salty, we need to keep that in mind as we make the other layers of this pasta casserole business. So I pureed this, about half of one of these that we had left over, and then about half of the pumpkin. And I really think she's trying to sneak over here and she keeps getting told to go lay down. So she's like, but I really think that cuts the pumpkin a lot. So I think that'll be good. I think he'll like it. Our little friend just woke up, so I need to go feed her, and then we will be back. It is 4:30. This is a lot of steps. Lasagna is a lot of steps to make. It's so good, but it really, like, you gotta make the sauce and the meats and the pastas. And that sausage took us a minute. My noodle situation, it's just a light layer on the bottom. We're gonna put our sauce. And make sure that that is covered. Then we're gonna put our puree. And I have no idea, I guess I should have said, I have no idea if her recipe is good. So if you go there and you make it and you're like, well, that was the worst lasagna I've ever made. I didn't taste it. It just looked good to me. So that is where we're coming up with this from that. This might be horrible and hers might be great. They both might be horrible. I have no idea at this point in my life. But it looked really good. She also used a lentil pasta lasagna in hers. Thought that looked really good too. In no way, I guess I'm saying am I saying mine's as good as hers. It's very different, just the idea that we got from her. Okay, we have that. Then we're gonna do some of our very garlicky spinach. A layer of our meat. A very thin layer of our meat. And traditionally you would layer the cheese as well. We're not going to do a big layer. It's probably a quarter of a cup. That's really stuck together. Okay. Then we're going to do another layer of our pasta. That is what that looks like. Then we're just going to add some cheese on the top, like a lasagna. And this is, all the layers are cooked, so we're not cooking it to cook it. We're just cooking it to blend it all together and to warm it back up because the meat is lukewarm at this point. That was the first thing we cooked, and this is like, my arteries are hurting looking at this. Okay. Let's cover it with some foil and put it in the oven. Okay. It's the moment of truth. I'm very hot because I was standing here cutting up a salad and the oven was on broil, and then we got a little crispy. It's not, that's not burned. It's just brown. It's a little burnt. That's not why. Okay, that's okay. Because we have all the other delicious layers. Oh, I have noodles on my face. It's very hot. It's good. He says it's good. Either he has horrible taste buds or we did it. This was a challenge, this meat. Oh, what is that? But it's really not bad. I stuck some on Elsie's plate because, like I said yesterday, she can't stand anything remotely hot. But it doesn't look awful. It's not bad. Good job. Good job, me. I did it. I did it. I didn't think I was going to be able to eat it, and I did it. This is what the casserole looks like up close. See, it's not as burnt as it looked when I was holding it up. And I just made a simple salad with some lettuce that was in the fridge and cabbage because I decided yesterday I would rather have like a spinach or a kale salad. Romaine's not really my favorite, so I threw some cabbage in there to crisp it up a bit. It has zucchini, carrots, bell pepper. It's a pretty big salad because I wasn't sure. And that is dinner. Just like that, you can take some free, really gross crap that was given to you and turn it into something that's actually pretty good. And honestly, you could serve this to people and be like, come to my fancy dinner, and they might buy it. Maybe.